Hello everyone, so I literally just finished watching this movie like half an hour ago. I literally left the cinemas half an hour ago and I needed to film this video because this movie was something else. I didn't expect the Batman to be this good. I had high expectations, but I didn't have them this high. Jungle of love. So welcome to this quick review. This review is gonna be so different from my previous reviews because this is gonna be very straightforward. I just finished watching this movie, so I didn't have time to analyze, but I just wanted to film this movie review because The Batman 2022 was beautiful and it was so good, and we're gonna get into details, quick details into this video. Unmask the truth. In his second year of fighting crime, Batman uncovers corruption in Gotham City that connects to his own family while facing a serial killer known as the Riddler. So first things first, one of the most positive aspects of this film is the acting. I think everyone did a phenomenal job, especially Robert Pattinson. He's as the Batman. Obviously, we all love Robert Pattinson because of Twilight, but obviously he wants to make sure his career is not based on that, on a vampire, but which like it's fine. But his acting was so good, and for me he looked kind of cute. Like he looked so cute in this film and I really like that. And he looked like a badass too. I love the actiony scenes, the fighty scenes, especially the last scene. We know which one I'm talking about. He looks so serious, and in my opinion I still prefer Ben over Robert Pattinson, but Robert Pattinson is a great addition to this Batman universe. And also the rest of the crew like Zoe, Paul Dano, Jeffrey, John Turturro. I think everyone did a fantastic job, especially the villain. I think this villain is one of the best villains that DC has, in my opinion. I think he looked very, how can I say, realistic. Like obviously it's not like one person in the actual real world is gonna do this, but it felt real. Like it didn't feel like a cartoonish villain, if that makes sense, even though it's coming from a cartoon, obviously from a comic. Another positive aspect that the Batman has is obviously the cinematography. The cinematography is gorgeous. I just can't imagine how hard it was to edit this movie and how hard it was to produce it, because this movie looks expensive. Like you can't tell the budget of this film, and I just love the way this movie is edited. I think because obviously this movie happens mostly during nighttime, and the shots are gorgeous. The color palette is so good, especially the orange and the blacks and the reds. Like those three colors are like the main colors of this movie, and I absolutely love that. And also like the water is well mixed with the colors from like the outside. So for example, if there is an explosion, you can tell a different kind of orange, if that makes sense. And obviously I love the racy scenes. They look so good as well. I think the camera work in this movie is so good, and obviously the audio is also good. The soundtrack of this film was amazing. I absolutely love the soundtrack. I think I will download the playlist on my Spotify, because like apart from the songs, which are a great addition to this movie, just the audiography in general, I think it was perfect, because especially in the fight scenes, and obviously watching this at the cinema was something else, because you feel the explosions, my seat was moving, the sounds and the audiography from this film will blow your mind. I personally loved it. I think it's one of the best DC movies with audiography. Now another great aspect of this film is that it's the storyline. I think this movie has a great structure. It has a great beginning, a great opening, a great middle act, and a great final act, and all of them are combined. This movie doesn't go, some DC movies are kind of messy, but the Batman had a great structure, because the first act connects to the middle one and connects to the end. And I really like that, because obviously this movie is almost 3 hours long, and so I appreciate that the structure is organized. And coming to some negative stuff that just comes to mind really quickly, the first one will be that this movie is a bit too long. I think this movie didn't need to be 3 hours long. because I think some scenes were a bit too long, they dragged a little bit too much, or like some scenes that were just extra. Like this movie would have survived without some scenes. Obviously I'm not gonna say which ones because I don't want to give spoilers. And also another negative stuff that I can say about this film is that I don't know what's going on with DC, but each film is like a new universe. Like you don't really feel the connection, or they're not really constant. So obviously this Batman is a new universe that we're gonna see, hopefully. But I know it's not a negative stuff from the film, it's just from the universe the movie is part of. But like I know this movie is not gonna be continued, if that makes sense, because every single DC movie feels like its own universe, and I wish DC will be more organized with like and being constant with their movies. So yeah, that was it. I know this was kind of messy, kind of quick, but I just wanted to give my thoughts because obviously I really enjoyed this movie. For me it's a 4-star film just because of the cinematography and the audiography. Those two things are one of the main reasons why I would rewatch this movie non-stop. Even though this movie is 3 hours long, I think it's worth it because it will blow your mind just because of how gorgeous this movie looks. Maybe the storyline is not gonna be your cup of tea, but I know the audio and the cinematography in general will be your cup of tea. And just before we go, I just want to say thank you to the cinema that I went to, which is Odeon, and they gave me this comic, which is obviously the comic based on the film, and I think it's gorgeous. It looks so good. So thank you Odeon for giving me this comic, I really appreciate it. And so I hope you have a nice end of the week. Let me know in the comment section below what do you think about the Batman. Please, I need to discuss this movie with everyone, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.